think we should make another video. I kind of feel like that was a fail. This video is about our experiences in, like, our first experience in England, because we were both born in Zambia.
Yeah. Well, you can go first if you want. About your experience when you first came.
Oh, I don't want to eat in the video, but I really want the grapes.
Okay, well, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Well, I found it really weird, obviously, that there was just, like, English people everywhere, because I was so used to seeing just, like, black people.
Same.
So I just found it really strange that there was, like, no black people, and obviously it's England.
Did you come in year 6?
I was in year 5. And then there was only, like, 2 black people, I think, that were in, like, I could see around, like, the playgrounds and stuff, but in my class it was only, like, me, and, yeah, it was just really weird. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, you look like this girl. And they kept talking about this girl that they knew that was, like, African from Zimbabwe. I was like, oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, when I first came, everyone seemed really interested in the infant school that I went. They were, like, really interested in, because I was obviously different, and there was another person that was mixed race, but they were brought up in England, so it wasn't really anything different. But I was actually from Africa, Zambia, so they just wanted to know, like, what things are like, and I got asked, like, how come you speak really good English, which was, for me, it was so normal, because my parents spoke English to me, my school was spoken English, so it was like English was my first language, so that was kind of a weird question. And then, like, a year later, when I went to a school that was closer, I was, like, the only black person in the school, apart from you. You were in year 6, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, apart from Louis, I was the only black person. And, like, in my class, some people had never even seen a black person before. That's how, like, different it was. And I remember going around my friend's house, and her little sister was, like, whispering, but I could hear. And she was like, why is your friend brown? Like, how come her skin's brown?
That's so weird. Well, I mean, I didn't really have, I think I just kind of learnt from the other school, like, yeah, I don't know, it wasn't, like, such a big deal when I moved to the second school, because we moved to a school nearer to our house. It's more like, they just thought it was weird, like, my feet were weird, because, like, my palms are different colours to my skin. That was, like, the one thing they were just like, oh my gosh, it's like, they would just, like, stare, they wouldn't say anything. But that was about it. And then the whole, like, oh my gosh, you speak really good English was, like, that went up until, for ages. Like, now people just think I'm, like, was born here and everything, but when I mentioned it, like, even a couple of years ago, they'll be like, oh my goodness, you speak such good English. It's like, well, I've been here most of my life, so I'm probably gonna learn how to speak English. But yeah, they just find it, like, really interesting that we can speak really well
English. Yeah. And I think a weird thing I found as well with the kids, it was more, not when I first got there, but I can't remember when it started. I think maybe year 6 or year 7. I don't know what year it was, but people were hesitant to, like, hold my hand. I know, as weird as it sounds, that is definitely a black thing. Like, I noticed that. Like, after a while, they stopped having that feeling of, like, black people are, like, disgusting or dirty, but I definitely saw that. I definitely saw that, yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know. Yeah, that's my only experience, really, of, like, when I first came. I thought it was really, really cold.
Yeah.
And just, like, extremely cold. Like, no coat could stop the coldness. Does that even make sense? No coat was good enough.
I was so excited, like, I don't remember. Like, I remember it being cold, but I remember getting off, being at the train station and seeing my mum and just running and hugging her.
And she had, like, a massive coat.
Yeah, and then she looked at us and she was like, I've got coats for you at home, because we weren't, like, wrapped up too warm.
Yeah. That's, like, one thing I remember. I kind of remember, there's things that I thought were really odd, like, because in Zambia we would pray before we ate. Like, everyone was really, like, either Christian or they were Catholic or the Muslim or something. Like, there wasn't many Muslims at all. There was probably one guy that I knew in my whole life of being in Zambia that was Muslim. But yeah, like, people would pray before they ate, and everybody was, like, a Christian, and that was, like, cool to be a Christian. And then when I came here, I noticed nobody prayed before they ate. And I was like sat there and I was like praying, and I was about to pray, and I was like, no, but not out loud. I was gonna pray in my like inside, and I was like, nobody's praying. That's really weird. So I just learned that people don't pray here. So yeah, that was one thing I noticed. And that was like in year 5.
Yeah, a few things as well that people have asked, because being like, because we moved to Cambridgeshire area, and in Cambridgeshire there's not that many black people. If you went there now, then you'd see like a lot more black people, because this is like 11 years later or 12 years later, so there is going to be like a lot more. But when we first came, there really wasn't, and so people didn't really know that some people had never seen a black person or never seen someone from Africa. Like, and I say Africa not because I think Africa is a country, obviously, but Africa is in any country in Africa.
Yeah.
They'd never like experienced that at all, so they used to like ask loads of questions to find out things, because all they had seen is either nothing or like the adverts on TV of like help children in Africa kind of thing. So they'd ask me questions like, how far did I have to walk to get water? Which I was like, it's ridiculous, because at first I didn't even realise like where they would get it from, but I was thinking, that's so silly, like, I don't know, maybe a minute to like the tap or something. Like, what? Why are you asking me that? Then they'll be like, how often did you have to put mud on your hut? I was like, what hut? Like, what are you talking about? And the thing is, I had a bigger, in Zambia we had bigger house than like all of the people asking me those questions, so like it was so like prejudiced for them to even say that and think like that's what it's like in Zambia, because it's really not. And
like people didn't really believe, like if you say like, oh yeah, we had like, because a lot of people had like house help, what they called like they had house
quarters.
They had house, like people had that clean their house, or a nanny,
and clean their garden,
and gardens, and we have like, we called it a servant's quarter or something, but we just called it a servant's quarter. But I never thought of it when I was little, and I think that's where like the people that would clean your house and stuff could stay. And like people just didn't believe that like people like, had someone who can help.
Of course,
like
black people
would have a nanny, or people like in Africa. And
because black people are normally seen as the help, so for them to grasp the idea that
it's not even black, just African, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just didn't think like anybody had money. They just thought Africa's like really, really poor, and they just like when you say stuff like that, they'll just be like, okay.
Yeah, and stuff like, oh, what was it like living with all the animals?
It's like, I never saw any animals.
Do you know what it's like?
I know, it's like, I never saw any animals, like lions and stuff, until just before we went to the safari park thing, and that was about it.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, what else? There was so many things that I've been asked that's just been like ridiculous.
It was more like, oh my god, like when we were in the UK for like maybe 3 years, and we were obviously used to the weather and stuff. Like,
oh my days!
This guy, he was like a pastor at our church, like the first church we went to, and he would always ask us whenever it was cold. It's like, are you getting used to the weather? Or, oh, you must be very, very cold, aren't you? And it's like obvious, and some people like use weather as like what to talk about when there's nothing to talk about, but it's like we've been here for ages now, and it's like we don't feel the cold, like we just feel it like you do. It's not like
it is cold
any different
because it's cold.
Yeah, it was just like, why do you always ask us
I think they asked us for like 8 years.
That was like, oh yeah, like
every
for like
single time,
so long. It was ridiculous. We're like, yeah, it's good. I don't know. I don't even know what I used to say. That is so annoying though.
Seeing snow for the first time as well was really weird. And it's not the way I imagined it, because I was really like fascinated by it, but for some reason I thought like if you ate snow it would like taste like sweet or something, like sugary. I know this is when I was young, okay?
When I was little as well, because obviously like, oh, this girl mentioned it because she's South African, and she was like, whenever they had Christmas cards it always had like snow on it, but we lived in Africa and it would never have snow. And it's just weird because I always thought snow was so pretty and so cool, and then like when you have to live in it, it's just so inconveniencing. Like, first of all, I'm not like 12 anymore. I'm not gonna want to play in the snow, and it's just oh, it's just everywhere. It's just cold. English people, like British people, we don't know what to do with that snow, so we just don't do anything.
And it's not like enough for you
Yeah.
to like, for them to do something about it, like nationally.
People that live in the UK, like, we literally don't know what to do when it snows. Like, it's just ridiculous, because places like Canada, like, they'll have this much snow and they still go about their life, but we have this much snow and, like
everything's
school's shut. Okay, I know, but I'm so happy when school's shut.
Yeah. I thought England had a smell. Like, I definitely think it does, because when I travel and come back, you can smell. It smells of, like, milk and cheese. And like air.
Ew.
It does. And
milk and honey.
It was actually
Biblical.
It's actually a fact. I think someone proved that I was right. It actually smells like that. And I thought
I don't know if that's true.
It took me a while to get like used to the smell, and I thought the food tasted really like didn't have that much flavour. It was kind of boring.
I don't really. There's loads of things that I can say that are like differences from African here, but I can't think of what exactly I thought of when we first came.
And I remember watching The Simpsons, because Louie, you were into cartoons. Like, she was into like watching TV and cartoons, so she knew how to work the TV. But I was never fussed, because I was more of like a tomboy that liked to play, like climb trees and like run around. So then when she like figured out how to use the TV and stuff, and you introduced me to The Simpsons, that's what I remember watching. Don't remember watching that much after. And I remember that we had 4 channels. We had 5, but you had to, like, channel 5, you had to put it on a weird thing for it to work. Which is crazy, going from that to then for you.
I just love this, because things that I don't remember, Kisu remembers. Things that I remember, Kisu does remember. So it's good. We can help each other out. But, yeah.
And I remember coming to our house, and even though it was smaller, I thought it was so cool, because it had stairs.
Oh my goodness,
and like, where we lived, like, even though the houses were bigger, it was all like one floor, but then at our house, even though it was smaller, I just thought having stairs was so cool. I was like running up the stairs running down, like bouncing, like sitting on my bum, like I just thought stairs was so cool.
Yeah, I love the houses and stuff. I don't know, I just enjoyed it.
Just different. I think it was a good time to move, because for me, I was young, so it was more like exciting, somewhere different. And if I moved like now to come, I think I would find it really hard.
You would go back all the time.
It's a big culture shock as well. Like, the culture is really, really different. I think it's really good to either move when you're a lot older, or move when you're younger, like in between. I don't think you would like people like it that much. Well, some people do, but depends your experiences, really.
When you get a new person, usually everybody's like really excited, but that only lasted for like maybe a week or something, or 2 weeks, and then it was like, right, now I'm gonna figure out who I'm close with. And in my first school, I really didn't like it at some points, because I wasn't really that close to that many people. There's only this Indian girl that really liked talking to me all the time, and like, yeah, we ended up going to the same secondary school. And then this other girl, I think her name was Hayley, and the Indian girl's name was Nabila, and then the
I love how you said the Indian girl, and then the other girl's was Hayley.
The English or white girl, her name was Hayley, and like, she was like the naughty one, so I kind of ended up being friends with her, but it's not like I wanted to be friends with her. But yeah, it was just kind of like weird. And then we moved schools like shortly after that, so I only spent like half a year there, which was good. And then once I figured out what this place was like, I was like, yeah. And I got my friends at my new school and stuff, and yeah, it was cool.
One other thing I noticed is that the humour was really, really different.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I thought it was really silly. Like, now I find English humour really like funny, and like, probably because I'm older and I'm more into like dry sense of humour kind of thing. But when I was younger, for young people, it's really silly, like slipping over a banana and then like pie in your face.
Yeah.
And I think like, if you live anywhere in Africa, but for me Zambia, you're a lot more mature. So like,
I think that's true, actually.
I just thought it was really silly. I was like, how is that funny? I just used to sit there and like, I was a bit, I don't know, I remember being invited to a party to go to the cinema a few years later after being here for a while, and we watched Johnny English, and I just thought the whole thing was so silly, because I liked Mr. Bean because I watched it in Zambia, the actual show, but I thought Johnny English was so silly, like the film, and now like I watched it a few years ago and I just thought it was hilarious, like I think because I've got you,
stuff. But yeah, and like things like sarcasm, because I think we used to watch a lot of like, well, I used to watch a lot of cartoons, I think, that were more American, and American shows, and then like African shows and stuff like that. But I didn't really watch anything that was English. The only thing I remember watching that was actually English was Mr. Bean and Biker Grove, and that was about it. So like coming here, like I didn't understand sarcasm. Like it took me a long time to understand. I was just like, it's just not funny. Like I just did not think it was funny. I was like, how is it funny to just say something the opposite way? I was like, yeah. I didn't find it funny until like I was like in year 8, which was a lot of years later.
People used to be like, Kambia says no.
I found that funny though.
I don't know. I never used to find it funny, and now I find it quite funny.
It's so racist when you watch it, when they're like, a black person made the book.
Oh, that's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, who made the cake?
Katande. Yeah, and then they like throw up. But yeah. Oh yeah, I guess just hair and stuff. Just asking questions about hair. And
someone asked me, does it hurt when I comb my hair, or how do I comb my hair? I'm like, same way you do? Like, no. Or they're like, they'll touch it and be like, oh, it's like wool.
Yeah.
It's like, hold back, like, keep your comments like inside. If you don't have anything to say that's nice, then don't say it.
Yeah. And also, this girl was like, she was touching everyone's hair. She was like, that feels normal. There was all white people and one Indian girl. The same Indian girl, actually. I was friends with in like year 5. She was like, oh, that's normal. And she was like, oh, yours is not normal.
Why would you even do that? Like,
I don't know who does that.
She probably did that for the intention of saying that.
But yeah, she ended up going out with this mixed race guy, so I think.
Do you have any questions or want to know more about like a topic that we've said, or like a scenario? What's the word? That we've talked about? Then you can like message us or leave a comment. Yeah. And we'll make a video about it.
Because we didn't write these things down. These are just things that have come from the top of our heads. So we hope that we've said everything clearly. If you've got any questions like she said, just let us know what your questions are and we'll answer them.
And if you've moved to a country that you weren't born in, then you should make a video and link it to us too.
Yeah, let us know anything. It doesn't matter where you're from, if it's Africa, or if you were English going to Africa, or if you was like
Singapore,
Spain,
China, France,
exactly.
Italy, America, Canada, Egypt,
every country.
Iran.
But yeah,
pretty much. Thank you for watching.
Thumbs up. Remember to like, subscribe. Yo.